Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be going over another one of the new unique items that was introduced in patch 1.3, and this is the Mutilator Plate. The Mutilator Plate is a Necromancer only item, and it's a pretty interesting little doojake. Basically, let's go over it together, shall we? So first off, it can be ancestral or sacred. It does drop from Beast in the Ice, by the way. That's the farm location for it, but you can find it randomly throughout the world as well. It has 42 willpower, 28 to 42. It does, I could also probably upgrade this so we could get like a better idea of its full version. You know what, let's go upgrade it. I think I'm pretty much starved out of Forgotten Souls though right now, so we're probably only going to be able to get 4 out of 5. But 4 out of 5 is better than nothing. The Mutilator Plate has a very interesting graphic too. Kind of looks like you're rotting away from some sort of illness or something. I'm not really sure what to call it. Yeah, I figured I wouldn't be able to get the last one, but the appearance is kind of interesting. Let me show you guys. And of course, I got the shield in the way. It's kind of like almost like the skin is rotting away or something. I'm not really quite sure how to. I'm not really sure I like that one, to be honest. Like the skin rotting away thing. Now the Mutilator Plate has was a 59 willpower there. I'm pretty sure it goes up a little bit higher than that. 9.8 to 19.6 healing received, which I'm not really sure about the healing received, but I guess it kind of makes sense considering it's a blood skill item. 27.3 on the cap there on the armor, which is not bad. I believe it goes up to 29.2 when it's fully upgraded. And then life goes up to like 1310. I believe it's 1310. So 564 to 1310. And honestly, it's a pretty decent little plate in terms of defensive capability because it does give you armor, it does give you life, and the healing received isn't terrible. I'm not really sure about the willpower, though. I mean, Necromancer is all about that sweet, sweet intelligence. I'm not really sure why specifically the willpower. I guess overpower damage, specifically to try and increase overpower damage. But if it was overpower damage, then why not just simply give overpower damage? I don't know. Now, the special effect on this is actually quite interesting. It's you are blood-lanced. So when you put this on, one of the things you're going to notice, when you go outside of town, or when you go into the training room, is that you will immediately become blood lance. You have a blood lance sticking out of you. It's actually kind of a cool mechanic, in my opinion, because, well, I mean, it's just a neat way to go about things, right? So, like, it just gives you one extra blood lanced target, and you are that blood lanced target, right? So, the just a blood lance target, right? So you become blood lance, as you can clearly see. I have a blood lance sticking through me, and then on top of that, we also can blood lance our enemies. So, and we can interact with that blood lance because we are part of the blood lanced horde, and that's kind of how the rest of this goes. Is that when blood lance would deal damage to you, it instead fortifies you for 1.9%, 1 to 2% of your maximum life, and has a 5% chance to form a blood orb, which is actually kind of cool because you can get a lot of blood orbs this way, and blood orbs can be pretty handy depending on how you have them set up. Maybe you have them set up for additional damage, to spam skills for you, to give you a resource. There's a lot of different ways you can use blood orbs to your advantage. And then on top of this, we also get Blood Lance deals a 10 to 20% multiplier. Increased damage to, obviously your blood lances. This allows you to add some very interesting effects into your blood lances. Now, first off, because you count as a blood lance target, well, this means that you already have one, right? And if you take a look at the blood lance skill, first off, it says throw a blood lance that lingers in the enemy for 3 seconds, dealing damage to them and other lanced enemies, right? So the more enemies you have lanced, the more damage you do to all those enemies. And of course, you count as one of them, so you get fortified while you're damaging them. On top of this, we also get the paranormal blood lance, which is while at least 2 enemies or a boss are affected by blood lance, you gain 15% increased attack speed. And since you count as one enemy, you only have to blood lance one other enemy. And now you have the effect, right? So there's a lot of ways that you can utilize this to your advantage. Just giving you tons of additional like usefulness. You count as one. You kind of like fortify yourself. You get tons of extra blood orbs, which you can utilize to your advantage. You get more damage to your blood lance ability as well. You also get additional healing. You can activate paranormal blood lance easier, and so forth and so on. And honestly, it's kind of a really cool mechanic, if I'm being perfectly honest. It's a little bit of a poorly itemized item, in my opinion, because I really just think that you shouldn't have items that are so very focused on one ability. I much rather prefer items that are more open-ended than closed-ended, like this particular item. Because if you're not a Bloodlance Necromancer, if you're not using that, well, then the item isn't interesting to you. It's not interesting to you at all at that point, right? Because you're not Bloodlance, you don't care about that kind of stuff, so you're just going to put it to the side. And, you know, it's the same thing with, like, the Blood Artisan's Curios. If you're not using Bone Spirit, well, then you're just going to put that to the side. All in all, though, I really kind of like the way that it works. It's kind of gruesome with, like, the blood lance kind of sticking out of your body and, you know, making it so that you've got this like, thing just, like, protruding. It needs neat little graphic, neat little interaction with the way the skill works and stuff. And honestly, I really kind of like it. If you want to get your own Mutilator Blood Plate, this comes from the Beast in the Ice. All of the new uniques do, by the way. So Beast in the Ice is Distilled Fears, and Distilled Fears are gotten from doing vaults and as well as the Nightmare Dungeons. If you're tier 30 or higher, it's a guarantee. And then I believe if you're tier 90 or higher, it's basically you're going to get like 3 of them. 3 Distilled Fears per. And you need, I think it's 9 Distilled Fears per run of Beast in the Ice. I've actually gotten quite a few Mutilator Plates so far, so I don't think you're going to have too much of an issue with it. Although getting yourself a nice 20% multiplier with a decent life and decent armor is probably going to be a little bit more difficult. All in all, I think that's pretty much it. This one is the flavor text on this is the Cathedral of Light's earliest attempts at crafting their penitent armor was to infuse the plate with a painful blood magic. Before such acts were deemed heretical. Barrett's Books of Implements. Well, I mean, if you're a Bloodlance Necromancer and you want to get the most out of Bloodlance, this really seems like a good piece for you. You do have to give up a little bit of survivability for it, but you do get damage in as well. I mean, it's not like that much worse than a 4 mod. It's basically a 3 mod. I wouldn't really count, or 2 mod. It's really a 2 mod. I wouldn't count the healing received as a defensive mod. It's nice to have, but it's not really like end-all be-all or anything. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when we're just talking about the Mutilator Plate. And as always, keep watching.